audio side of the podcast.
Like, the audio
is always very clean.
Yeah.
I can tell why now. It makes a big difference.
No, it does, and we're just about to up that production side of things, anyways. Like, gonna get a couple new mics and better quality mics, and we're just, you know what it is, yeah. A lot of the stuff with the podcast, like, we're just learning as we're doing it, basically, like anything in life, innit?
Yeah.
But I think the beauty is, like, I was listening to this audiobook today, and the guy on the audiobook said, he was basically saying that loads of people read loads of different books, but they don't implement anything. It's like reading a book on cycling and not actually
cycling.
You know what I'm trying to say? So there's a big gap when it comes to people and doing stuff. So people can read books on anything they want, unless they apply it or try stuff out, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
So yeah, man. Let's kick it off, innit?
I'm ready.
So yeah, like I'm actually, I think we wanted to do this for a while. We wanted to get you on here for a while. Let me just move my phone. But I don't know, like, how come it took so long? I don't know. I'm not blaming you. I'm asking you. It's a rhetorical question.
No, but I think the guests that have been on have been the right guests as well. Like, the conversations have been. And I think it was right that they get given that time to express themselves as well.
So I don't know. So I don't know if you mind me talking about this, innit? So, like, you're about to become a dad. So what does that feel like? Unless you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to.
It's mad because this is the first time publicly I've been able to say, like, my miss is 9 months now. And for the last 9 months, it's kind of been a thing, like, on the side. Yeah, by the way, I might go on paternity leave. Like, in meetings and whatnot, I'm saying, I might go on paternity leave. Just chucking it in there, but never saying, I'm about to become a dad. So if we do speak about it, it's going to be the first time. So I don't really know what to expect.
But do you feel different? Like, do you feel like you're about to become different, or do you feel the same? Like, what's your outlook on it?
I think so. When we had antenatal classes, the midwife said the female obviously goes through several changes over the 9 months, then post labor. But then for the guy, it also goes through massive changes as well. Yeah. And I thought, no, that's not gonna be me. I can't. I'm already quite aware, quite mature, I think. But I'm seeing that now. I'm seeing little changes in myself. I'm a lot more calmer. Like, the other day, some guy just pulled up next to me. And I was driving down the A13. He just pulled up next to me, and he's like, he's on a mad one. He's like, he wants road rage. He wants to turn into a passer. And I'm just like, calm down, relax, chill. Whereas if that was me a year ago, I would have given some verbal back, probably like tried to slow him down, get in front of him, try and piss him off a little bit. But I was so calm in that situation.
Do you, in any shape or form, felt like violated at that point, or do you felt like
I felt empowered? The fact that I was able to be calm in that situation, I felt very empowered, and I wasn't impressed by his use of words or his ability to shout louder than me. I was just like, brother, just chill, like, relax.
Did you feel sorry for him?
Yeah, no, I said to him, is your day, like, how's your day going? Like, because you seem angry, like, you've been behind me for the last 3-4 minutes trying to get past me, and I'll put my foot down, I can, but I don't need to, because I'm just going about my business.
And you're going by speed limit.
Yeah, anyway, and I just said to him, like, you just seem like you're having a bad day. If you want to go in front of me, and that will make your day better, go for it. And then he goes, no, I don't want to.
So he calmed down a bit. Like,
he calmed down. And then before that, I see his face is like, he's all like angry. I see him in my rearview mirror. And then after that, he was behind me again for another 3-4 minutes after that. And he was just calm. He just held in his chin. He was just driving. He calmed down. And I felt empowered by that. I was like, my ability to be calm in that situation and hold my ground and just handle the situation well.
And you sort of supported him as well. Like, you sort of asked him an important question, like, "Hey, you good?" You know.
Yeah. I think he was just having a bad day.
Yeah.
And maybe he might remember that somewhere down the line, and hopefully he'll mature up. Because the first thing he asked me was, what ends are you from? And I was like, bro, I'm 24. Don't do that shit with me, man. Like, what ends are you from? Like, that's...
From EastEnders.
That's... You can't... I'm not impressed by that anymore.
I like that. And you know what I like about you in particular, and obviously if I'm not saying anything that is not public, I guess, like you spoke about, you're about to become a dad, and obviously you just got your first property, and you're 24 at the moment, so you got your first property, you're creating certain initiatives that are super powerful, and obviously it's towards like young people, and you're involved in a lot of things that are going to create a lot of different value for people, and you're about to be a dad, and it's just like, and I think what I find really impressive about you is that there's something around your mindset that's, I feel like, helping you achieve all of that stuff. So one of the things I wanted to kind of explore was mindset today a little bit, and you said you want to talk about it anyway, so.
I think only very recently, but that empowerment piece, I think big got to do with mindset.
Yeah.
It's all to do with mindset. And I think I've only realized within the last 6 months to a year that my mindset, or the power of my mindset and my willpower, is what got me to where I am today.
But is that so where you sort of you were already like doing it and utilizing your mindset, but you didn't realize what your mindset was until recently? Yeah,
I didn't realize it. No way.
Yeah. But you had it. You developed it. You were utilizing it. You just didn't know what it was or what it looked like at that time.
I think I can reflect now and say that my mindset was a lot stronger than peers and other people from early.
Yeah.
Like when I say from early, like school days, because for me, everything that I've manifested or wanted to achieve, alhamdulillah, I'm gonna use that word, that I've achieved it. Everything that I've kind of dreamt about when I was 11, 12, sitting in my bed in my room as a teenager, I've gone on and achieved those things. I've always loved football.
Yeah.
And I was always like, I'm going to have my own team one day. I'm going to manage my team. Done that from early, 16, 17 years old. Like Wapping Youth FC gave me that opportunity to go on and take my own team, and a big thank you to them as well, because without them I wouldn't have been able to fulfill my dream. And that turned into so many more things. I said I grew up as an Arsenal supporter. My dad took me to my first game at 5 years old.
He's still supporting Arsenal.
Still support Arsenal somehow.
just double check.
They won today, so I'm still quite happy. But I always supported Arsenal. I've been to my first Arsenal game when I was 5 years old, and for me to work there was a massive achievement. And I was like, I'll get there one day or whatnot. I started in 2018 working at Arsenal, and I remember getting an email when it said, from Arsenal Football Club, and they sent me a letter confirming my employment.
How did you feel at that time?
Bro, that was mad. That was crazy. Like, that was all of my dreams come true. I remember sending a message out to my family like, I've done it. I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve. And I was like 20 years old. I've achieved everything I want to achieve. I'm happy now. I'm content. Like, if I worked in a supermarket for the rest of my life, I know that I worked at Arsenal. And that was like, from 5-6 years old, to be part of Arsenal, be part of that family, that for me was the biggest achievement. So
do you think we ever stop achieving, or do you think, because I kind of feel like in life, and there's nothing wrong with that anyways, but I just want to put it into the space. It's like, I feel like sometimes in life there's always something to achieve. It's you get to one place, then there's another thing. And do you think like that's what life is built around?
I think just human nature. You just want to grow. You just want to see the next step every single time.
Yeah.
Like, you have the first steps is like your basic necessities. You want to look after your basic necessities. Then you want to kind of live a few luxuries, have a few more luxuries. Then you want to kind of explore things that other people haven't explored. There's always a different level. Every time once I get in, I in my coaching career, 5 years ago, I would have said, if I ever worked for Arsenal, then I'm done. I've completed. But now I want to go to the next level.
There's new things that open up.
There's new things. Now, those opportunities might not be at Arsenal, they might be elsewhere, but my perspective on that has changed.
And that happened through experience. And then that also happened through achieving, because if you didn't achieve those certain things before that, then you wouldn't even look at other things.
Yeah. It's like a game. It's like, you know that you've clocked the game when you get to like level 90 or or whatever. But with life, it's not. It's you carry on.
Yeah,
You don't know where the end level is. You don't know level 90. You could be level 150, and you could still be growing.
I like the fact that you compared it to a game. I feel like sometimes if people looked at life as a game more often, I feel like people would achieve more and just be a bit more happier, because I feel like people take life a bit too seriously sometimes.
I think that comparison comes from Bob Singer. Have to bring his name into it.
Shout out to Bob Singer.
100%. When he said the way we play games is the way we play life. Like, I think that's so true. The way somebody plays football is the way they play life.
Yeah.
Like young footballers, from my experience, tend to be like quite fast paced, and that's how they like their life to be lived. They enjoy that fast paced environment. Whereas somebody that enjoys playing chess is a little bit more calm, collected. They think about things. They're very strategic. And yeah, I think based on your life and your habits and your personality is the types of games that you enjoy.
Yeah.
I think I'm very in the middle. I enjoy football, but then I enjoy those slow paced reflection kind of, which is why I'm able to touch in and out of, you know, a fast paced environment and go into like a slower. Like, I enjoy conversation.
Yeah.
I enjoy conversation.
You have sort of like two different sides that you can tap into within yourself. You know, you can have a deep conversation with someone, and then you can also do the, you know, just like sort of enjoy life and just do the fun things and sort of like things that don't. I don't want to say fun things don't hold any meaning, but sometimes they just, you know, they're just fun things. They're not, you know,
no, 100%.
They're not super deep. Not that they can't be deep, but you know, it's just it's just what it is.
Yeah, I enjoy the deep things. Like, a lot of my peers when I was in school and whatnot didn't necessarily, or I think as men don't necessarily enjoy talking about feelings, talking about life, whereas to an extent I'm quite the opposite. Like, people come to me and talk about their relationship problems, and they talk to me about, you know, their life problems or financial issues that they're facing, and I'm happy to listen and happy to give them. I don't feel like I give them advice. I don't feel like I tell them what to do. Yeah. But I think I'm quite good at listening to them.
Do you help them reflect?
Help them reflect.
On where they are.
And I think that's where coaching comes into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why where I am in my career now and having that involvement of mindset coaching has been perfect for me, because I think, again, from early, like, I've always been involved in those conversations, actively listening to people, just, you know, providing them different perspectives. How about you think about it like this? How about you change, you know, how you approach this and see what the outcome is? And I don't like advising people because I'm no expert, and that's why it's coaching and not mentoring. Yeah. I have done mentoring, and I prefer coaching. I prefer coaching because it's assessing all of the options that are available to you and identifying which one's suitable.
Coaching is sort of like a mirror. It's just it's about giving the mirror to someone who's going like, have you looked at this, or just giving someone a different perspective. Or that's why questions are powerful, because it's like a question can make a person think about something differently. You know, and we're mentoring. I think both are powerful. I think mentoring is powerful too, but I think mentoring is just about an expert giving their expertise to someone and just telling them this is how that is, or this is how I achieve that. And like you said, it's like it might not work for every single person. It might not be the same. Yeah,
and the best thing about it as well is that I like listening to people that have had the experiences that I haven't been able to have. Like, there's so many things that somebody else would have done that I really like to listen to your story. Your story is amazing. But that story is not for me. It wasn't written in my book. But I still want to hear it. And I still want to listen to you. And there might be something that I can provide to you on your...
But what do you think you gain from listening to someone that you might not even relate to, or someone that's got a complete different perspective to you?
I think it's that enjoyment of the conversation.
Yeah.
I love conversation. I love talking to people.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I think I would have identified myself as quite a shy person. But I think if the conversation's right and the conversation's meaningful, I can talk to you for hours.
What do you like about conversation?
Just hearing different perspective. Like, understanding. And again, that's another realization that has only come very recently. That everyone's got a different perspective. Everyone sees the world differently. We spoke about maps of the world.
Yeah.
Like, my map of the world is different to your map of the world, and I love to hear things from other people's maps of the world.
Yeah.
And there's also that thing of like, you know, how much can I get out of you as well in a conversation? It's like through the mindset coaching, I've realized that there's always one or two things that people don't want anyone else to know. And it's like, how far can I go in a conversation with you? You know, how much can I get out of you? How closer can I get to that thing with that you don't want anyone else to know? And if I feel like that there's been those breakthrough conversations that I've had with people where they've told me something that's either like probably embarrassing about themselves, or they're quite ashamed, or they've never told anyone else. And when I have that, I'm like, that's been a good conversation because I managed to get that out of you. And likewise, if you manage to get that out of me, then that means I've trusted you to an extent to tell you what I don't want other people to know. And it's a good conversation. If I've been able to build that trust with you and trust you with something, then, you know, we've developed and established a good relationship there.
That's true. I remember, so going back to just shouting out Bob Singer, I remember I had a coaching session with him, and like just going back to what you said just not long ago, the first question he asked me was, what is it that you don't want to talk about today? Without having to tell me. But then I was thinking, that's actually the thing in my head that's kind of affecting me the most at that time, or is the most important thing at that time, the thing that I don't want to talk about. Which is, I was like, that's a powerful question in itself. You know, that's
and that's the one you see people like they get stuck on. Like, yeah, like I said, people don't want you to know something. There's always something that somebody's ashamed of. Somebody not necessarily ashamed of. It could be a good thing, and that's another thing as well. Like that I've learned, it could be a great thing. I could tell you something that I've achieved that I feel is like really valuable to me, but then I think I come into the room and I'm like, does that sound like I'm being a show off? There's that showboating a little bit.
But then that's your own. That's your own internal voice, kind of telling you what people might think. And even though people might think that, but then if people think that, then that's more about the person rather than who you are, right? And this is what I'm trying to understand in life as well. I'm trying to understand what's the balance between like caring about what people think. So I'm getting to the point where like I don't give a shit that much. I still care to some extent, but the you know, the older I'm getting, the less I care. But what I'm understanding is that sometimes, regardless of how many different times I might try to portray myself in a certain way, like people will still have their own opinion of who I am, their own version of who I am, you know. Aladdin, can we just get the window as well, please? That's right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, so yeah, but in terms of mindset, what would you say are your like sort of like 2 to 3 values that you add towards your mindset, that you have as a person, that helps you carry the mindset you've got?
That's difficult to list it as 2 or 3, but I think the first one has to be coming out of your comfort zone. Through leadership and all of the workshops, leadership training and leadership courses that I've been on, and then leadership workshops that I've delivered, is everything's always been around coming out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to do that. You have to be willing to expand a little bit. I'm willing to do uncomfortable things. And I think that's what I mean by the strength in my mindset.
But do you get, this is a funny question, yeah. Do you get addicted to doing things outside your comfort zone? Because I feel like it's like a process, right? It's like the moment someone does it for the first time, then obviously brings value, then they do it for the second time, then the third time, then it's always like uncomfortable, but then there's like a sense of like, I'm not saying for you, but I'm just saying in general, like there's a sense of addiction to just go like, you know what, I like what that being outside comfort zone thing creates for me.
It's that thrill.
Yeah.
That thrill of being outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny because I went through depression when I was about 17, 18, I think. And at that point, I think I realised, like, I still have bad days, but I think I realised that doing the boring stuff and not coming out of my comfort zone is what's not giving me that satisfaction. I needed something. Like, that's why life for me, I think, has moved so fast, because I'm always looking for that extra bit that takes me out of my comfort zone. I'm always looking for that little bit more that I haven't done before, and I'm looking to try a new experience. That's why I've moved very quick in my coaching career. I've moved very quick in terms of my personal life, with getting married at a young age. Like, I was always like, I want to try this thing before other people try it. I passed my driving test at 17, like 2 months into being 17. My theory test was on my 17th birthday. Like, I'm proud of those things. And I know that no one else my age or none of my friends have gone and done their theory test yet. So I'm going to be the first one to go and do it. I don't want to, when I passed, I think only one of my friends were driving. So I was like one of the first within my whole year group to go and get a car and whatnot. Yeah. And then it was like, I bought my house early, 22 years old, put the deposit down on the house. It was like, I want to be the first one.
Yeah.
So I definitely get a thrill out of, doing things that other people haven't done before and being maybe the trendsetter.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a trendsetter, but being a first to do it, the pioneer.
It's definitely inspirational. I think it's definitely one of the things where like people can look at and go, you know what, like what's separating me from Nayim, like what's the difference? And obviously I think one of the biggest differences is the mindset and perspective, and then people can go, you know what, why, can I develop the same sort of skill set and do the same thing? And it's just like, it's inspirational, if people would, depending on what their self-belief is and how much they can sort of like break down the barriers and learn, and it's all about learning, and I think knowledge is super important in life as well. Just understanding, or just going through the process of then learning how to do something.
That's the most valuable thing. Like I say that to everyone that I work with, all the young people and anyone that I come across, that value knowledge. And it's not necessarily in grades. Like, I think in school, I was good at school, wasn't good at college, because at that point it was all a mess. But I was good at school. Like, I got good grades. I'm happy with my grades, but that's because I valued learning. I valued learning new things and trying different things. And even right now, I can sit in a classroom environment and thrive and do well, because if I know it's challenging enough, I'm willing to match it and be there and be present. So yeah, value knowledge wherever it comes from, whoever it comes from. It can be in any form.
But then I think I think one of your strengths is like you apply the things you learn. So like you go through the process and you apply stuff that you learn. It's going back to the thing from the beginning that I've mentioned earlier. It's like some people can read like 20 books on how to ride a bicycle, but unless they really get on one and try to do it, like they'll never learn how to ride one, So I feel like with you, it's like you might read a book on how to ride a bicycle, but then you're gonna get on a bicycle and ride it,
Yeah.
Or sometimes you might even read a book. You might even get a certain knowledge on a certain thing. You might just go and do it and then learn that way as well.
See, I'm on the FA National Youth Council. So the FA, for those that don't know, is they ensure that football is for everyone. For all. And it's all strategies. Everything is strategies. Everything is, documented. This is how it should be done.
Yeah.
And I will sit in those meetings and I will have my notebook with me and I'll have one page about how I can contribute towards this meeting and check and challenge the things that are being said here. And then my other page on my notebook would be, how can I implement that to all the other things that are happening in my life? So with the Legacy Football League, I will sit there and I will have, one page about how FA can benefit from, the things that are going on in my mind right now, and I'll write it down and I'll present them at a certain point. But then another thing will be, this strategy has just been mentioned. How can I implement that into Legacy Football League? And I'll write it down, and I'll
turn that a bit as well. Yeah.
And I'll add it, and I'll try and see how many places I can implement that learning. So I might take one lesson, or it might be one thing that one person said that worked for them, and I might try and implement that in 5 different places.
That's it.
And I think that's really worked for me. That's why the Legacy Football League has grown in the way that it has, because I've been able to take away learning from different places and add them in to different aspects of the Legacy Football League. And that's really worked. And I'm excited to see the Legacy Football League come up.
That's it. So we don't have any rules on this podcast. Sometimes we do introductions like midway through, sometimes towards the end. So just for the context, because obviously you're talking about Legacy League as well. I wanted to shout that out as well. I was there on Monday, just seeing that in action was incredible. I
appreciate you coming.
I think it's amazing what you set up, and I think it's just like anything in life you've done before is going to grow. Just seeing how you are as a person and your mindset, I know it's definitely going to grow, unless you decide not to do it anymore. But yeah, just who are you as well, and what you kind of do at the moment, just for people to understand with the context of like where your kind of like information and what you're talking about is coming from.
Introductions is mad because how you want to present yourself.
But you know, I'm thinking about that powerful question. It's like, who are you today? And it's just like, that's different all the time, innit? So,
see, today, I'm too many people, and that's where I've coped by implementing learning in several different places, because I'm always thinking with several hats on, and sometimes that's let me down, and a lot of times that's been successful for me. But today, I'm a community activist. I want to stand up for people that wasn't born with the opportunities that they deserve, because I was one of them as well. I want to stand up for, can I say disadvantaged? I don't know if disadvantage, I use it so much, but I don't know if disadvantage is the right word. Just, at a different point.
Yeah. I
They're
get
born
why
at a
you say
different
that.
point. And they have to overcome different barriers. I want to stand up for those people. I'm a football coach because I love a learning environment. And to be front and center of that learning environment is empowering to me. So I love football coaching, but then I'm also a member of, UMIAS. I'm also a member of DFA. I'm also a member of the London Legacy Development Corporation. And I'm also, a member of the wider football community.
And a member of Planet Earth as well.
Member of part of the human race.
Come on. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, man, like obviously one of the things you wanted to talk about as well was pivotal moments. What does that mean to you? What are pivotal moments in life for you? What's a pivotal moment? Because that's it's a funny term.
I think it's that point that you can reflect now. You can reflect on the day, you can reflect in a year, you can reflect 5 years on, but it's that moment that changed your perspective. It's that moment that kind of made you do things differently.
Something
it's
super,
a pivot.
Something
it changes
significant.
direction.
Yeah. But then I think obviously in my map of the world, I think I'd argue that every single thing might change my direction. But I see what you're saying. It's just is it about the significance of that moment? It's how much change it created, rather it's something that created a lot of change than something small,
Yeah, as well, because the more pivotal, the bigger the impact of the situation.
Yeah.
Many pivots, like between the ages of 16 to 24. I'm 24 years old now. Between the ages of 16 to 24, a lot of things have happened.
You're like an old soul in a young.
I think I am
body.
a little bit as well.
I
am. Like, I enjoy being just calm and relaxed, and, like doing the old man stuff.
Yeah.
As well. Like, I'm not impressed by what the young people, see as impressive. Like, there was not even that long ago, but I was impressed by like fancy, nice, fast cars. I was impressed by like nice watch or luxury garments, but I've lost that a little bit now.
What made you change your mind on that, or what made you value other things?
I think it's meeting different people with different maps of the world. Like, that's why I would say that my bike ride with you, when was that? That was what, like nearly 2 years ago?
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago.
It was like first lockdown.
Yeah, it was during lockdown though, wasn't it?
Yeah, first lockdown.
So technically it wasn't even essential, but to me that was essential.
that was 100% essential. But for me, that was such a big moment because I came out of my comfort zone and met someone that I've only spoken to on Zoom like twice.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was incredible. Like, even now, just like I'm smiling about it because that was so sick. And I think this was initially, so you haven't met Bob and Robin at that point, and Aaron, like you haven't met them in person either. We were having the Zoom calls together, and then I said, you know what, I'll come and meet you. I said, I'll just come and meet you, man, straight. And then and you know what, it was actually beautiful, because even not only we had an amazing conversation and I got to meet you, like you showed me other parts of London that I've never seen before, you know, the canal and like around like both sides of Wapping, whatever, because I don't go there. I've never even knew that existed. And I think this canal like here, it connects somewhere there. Does. Yeah, so I was like, it was just an incredible, like that's something I'm going to have with me for the rest of my life.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. For me, that was just a moment where I just come out of my comfort zone, and like I said before, I would classify myself as a shy individual, quite introverted. I wouldn't really want to go into something where I'm meeting someone for the first time and that could affect their first impressions of me. Like I would be quite uncomfortable by that previously. Whereas following on from that, I was like, do you know what? I don't give a fuck what this person thinks about me. I'm just gonna go and present myself and be myself for the day, and that's what it was. And we had good few hours together, good conversation, and it just taught me that, you know, I'm willing to go out and meet new people that I've never met before. And then kind of I joined FA National Youth Council, and I was already on the Legacy Youth Board at LLDC at that point. But, you know, the confidence it gave me to go out and speak to those people in person. And then FA National Youth Council as well, just a mad one, because I'm meeting people that have had completely different upbringings to me. Like fully different. The kind of obstacles and barriers that I've faced in my life, that's wild to them. That's wild to them. And the barriers and obstacles that they face in their life, that's wild to me. And meeting them and understanding their characteristics and what makes them unique and special. And I think I've absorbed a lot of their characteristics, and meeting those people gave from a wider community. When I say, like, before we were just kind of, well, I feel like I was just locked up East London, everything East London. Then you might meet one or two people from South London and then go back into your little hub at East London. You might meet a few people from North London, and then whatever. Kind of beyond London is like once a year, maybe twice a year at most. Whereas when I'm constantly talking to people that nationally, then we spoke with Belgian FA, and we had a meeting with Belgian FA.
Sick.
Meeting people from Belgium, and then kind of adding them on socials and keeping conversations, relationships with them. It made me understand that there's a wider world out there.
The world is huge.
And people are different. Yeah. People are different. And your fancy cars and like your fast cars and your watches and your clothes and whatnot, it doesn't really impress everyone the way that you think it will.
And during lockdown, none of them were using the, you know, they were sitting in the expensive
That's what I'm saying.
houses.
Like, I was sitting in my pajamas in meetings.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, I've got my clothes in my cupboard and whatnot, and none of that shit's impressive anymore. And I'm just not impressed by that. Like, I might think like I'm a big person in my community, and I might be in Tower Hamlets, or I might be on my road, or I might be in my building. But there's a whole big wider world out there. Yeah. And the only thing that's really valuable to everyone is kind of knowledge and understanding, and being able to, you know, maintain a conversation and build a relationship, and you know, those foundational things.
Yeah, but I think that's like, I think we're a small tribe. I'm not saying we're super small, but I think there's not many people who think like that. Like, you know what? Maybe in a funny way, there are people who think like that, but sometimes there's a thing of like having to connect with that person to even discover that in the first place, or they haven't discovered it yet themselves. But it's funny because I'm coming from a perspective of like, I understand that the way the world is structured, or the way some people live their life, is not necessarily the best way to do that. And it's just, we need a change. And I think, and just going back to that thing of like, if people want to see change, they should first change themselves. And that's what I'm doing, basically. That's what I have done my whole life. Which is also powerful, because when I change, like, the way I look at stuff changes too, you know. But then I also believe that it's about building, which is what you're doing as well. It's about building platforms where we can share that mindset and share those sort of things as well. hence why we started this podcast as well, which is all about that too, you know.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think what I'm trying to do with Legacy Football League is, implement that as well. A platform where you can share mindset, share things that, help you grow, help you develop. And it's difficult because with young people, 14, 15, 16-year-olds, kind of the age group that we're working with at the moment, they haven't hit that. But many of them haven't hit that realization.
But you've been there before too. And this is what I want to talk about as well. Because I feel like sometimes as we get older, it's very easy to look at young people and just go like, they should be like this, or why don't they learn that? And obviously rather than going like, how can I teach them this? Because we can. But then even then, it's still sometimes, and I'm not believing that it's difficult, because I don't think it's difficult. I think we can do it. But sometimes I feel like young people in a certain place in life where it's like really tricky because they're just still discovering themselves. So it's easy to talk to someone else who already know themselves and to help them implement certain things, but they haven't discovered themselves yet. They're in the process. Sometimes I feel like I've been there, you've been there, and it's when as we get older, it's really easy to just go like, oh, why are they like this, or why is the person like that? Yeah, well, I kind of get it,
It always comes back to maps of the world. Like in their maps of the world, they are right, they are correct.
Yeah,
and we need to appreciate that. That young people are correct. If they feel like that's an injustice and we don't see the injustice to them and they're upset by that, they are right to feel, oppressed, because in their map of the world they are being oppressed.
That's how they feel and that's what they're experiencing.
100%. And if they're overly excited, then in their map of the world they have something justifiable to be excited about, and we should embrace that, empower, and say, appreciate that. And that's the beauty of working with young people, because it's just they're just such an open book, and their maps of the world can be easily influenced. And I want to be part of their story. 100%.
I love that.
I want to be part of their story. I want to be in their book. Have an influence, and possibly 5 years, 10 years down the line, some of them will be 25, 26, my age, maybe even older until they realize it. But, I will hope that they come back and say, Nayim influenced me in a positive way and allowed my mindset and my development to grow.
Yeah, and I think you're already doing that. It's just what you said, it's about realization. And I think from my point of view as well, with the experience I had youth working, sometimes I've had conversations with young people where I didn't even think they even took anything in. But then I realized it's about planting a seed, and you ain't going to always plant the seed, but sometimes you might plant a seed, a positive one, and then it grows later on. And then only later on they realize, oh, that's based on that conversation we've had. And that's something I'm implementing in my life. And then it might take 2, sometimes 5 years for them to go, oh my God, I remember that conversation we had. That was such a powerful one, and it's helped me look at things from that point of view and this. And at that time, I would have been thinking like it wasn't even going through. It didn't even feel like it's going through, or they're taking it in. But we don't understand what's going on internally for the person when we're having those type of conversations, which is also really, really powerful, man.
And in that, I want my growth and development to be authentic as well. I want it to be how we're mentioning it, how we're saying, for the young people, want it to be in 2 years, in 5 years, they have that realization. I want that for myself as well.
Yeah.
I want my growth and my development to be authentic, and to look back in 2 and 5 years and be like, that was a pivotal moment. I don't want to say that this podcast was a pivotal moment, but say in 5 years, because I want it to be authentic. Like there's this culture now where it's like influencers and the currency of attention, and everyone wants the attention real quick.
Yeah.
And everyone wants the money real quick. Everyone wants the attention real quick. Everyone wants fame. Everyone over lockdown, I had a little run. I got a little bit upset. I don't even know why I got upset about it, but it was just like everyone trying to start a business, and I was like, I appreciate you starting a business, and I appreciate you putting your time and effort into something. But I got upset with someone. No, there was a few people. There was about 3 people on the same day. They go, why ain't you shouting at my business? And I was like, I just wanted them to appreciate growth being natural, being authentic, because then it's more meaningful. Like, everyone wants to get to 1,000 followers real quick. As soon as they open up a new business, they expect everyone to give them a shout out, and they expect their followers to go up like that. What they're not appreciating, and for me, this is what I've learned, is that the quicker it goes up is the quicker it comes down.
You know what's funny? I think also a business is about finding. So I've got two things to say on that. Yeah. Just number one, in terms of like people wanting to start a business, I'm more fascinated with what does that mean, as in terms of like more and more people want to do it. It's like, where's that energy coming from? You know, what is, and I think that's just highlighting. I don't know the exact reasons, but it's just highlighting there's something around people wanting to do things their own way.
My interpretation of it is metrics of success. That they've seen someone else be successful on Instagram with a lot of followers, and through that they're generating a lot of money. So they've commercialized their content, and they just want that. But they want it real quick, like quick. Whereas that person that you've seen be successful, it's taken him or her 10 years to be at that level. Yeah,
musicians are a very good example of that. They've been making music 5 sometimes to 10 years.
Footballers are the perfect example. Footballer, like I'm relating it back to something that I know very well, is that a footballer will work from 5-6 years old from early and put in hours, and their parents will travel up and down the country and internationally to see them make it. And then they might blow up over 1 game or 2 games or 5 games. And everyone's like, oh, he's made it at 17 years old, he's smashing it, he's killing it and whatnot. But he's been working 12, 13 years before that to have those great 5 games.
Exactly.
And it's like, see so many bakers during lockdown. And why I got annoyed with it is like, I see my people, like my aunt, like, I don't know why she doesn't make it a business properly, but she's the best baker I've ever seen in my life. A big shout out to her as well, isn't it? And then it was like, people were trying to become famous bakers overnight. They were trying to sell their school cakes and their milk cakes, and then they were just like trying to become famous because they've seen someone else do it. And it was just like, perfect your craft, enjoy what you do, let it be authentic, let it grow.
And you know what? And the second thing I was going to add on to that, with when it comes to businesses, right? I think a business is around. It always involves community. There'll be a certain community that will be attracted to certain business, and when people start a business, most of the time they'll find other people that have a similar idea in common, anyways. In my opinion, because like they're building a community, and if they think like that, then means there's other people that might think about certain things in a similar way. So it's about discovering who the community is, and that takes time. It doesn't happen 100%. Overnight.
It takes it takes a lot of time. And it's just metrics of success. Like, people just see, somebody else be successful, and they want that really fast. And that's an illusion. I think, like, I respect Forex traders and network marketers, but my friends as well are network marketers and Forex traders, and respect you as well. I appreciate the craft that you do and the expertise that you have, but then some of them as well, network marketers, tend to sell a dream that you can reach my levels of success, or I can understand. So what I might do if I'm a network marketer is understand what you see as successful, and then say you can get that really, really quickly if you come and join my path.
That's a really good point.
And it's just like, metrics of success sometimes need to be tweaked or challenged a little bit. And
they can always change. Like, people can, like I said, like, it can be tweaked, and people can change them. And sometimes there's value in changing them. So we're coming towards the end, because obviously we have a cap on how long we can film. So 2 things before we check out. Is there anything you'd like to promote?
I want to promote Legacy Football League. I have to. That's going to be the big thing. Anyone in the football community, and the football community isn't just players, coaches and referees, it's anyone that enjoys watching football or loves youth football, seeing young people enjoy themselves, and not even young people, if you just enjoy good football, if you enjoy sports, if you enjoy seeing competition, find out a little bit more about Legacy Football League.
You got Instagram for that one? Can we add it into?
Yeah, it's I'll shout it out, but at Legacy Football League.
Okay.
I'll give that. The page is only up and running again. I want the growth and development of that league to be authentic, to be natural. And then just shout out to all of the people that supported me through my journey. Because without you, I wouldn't be the person I am today. You know, there's leaders from within my community and leaders that I take a lot from, and you have molded me and shaped me into the person that I am today. So a big thank you to you. I'm not going to say names. I want you to know within yourself that you've had a massive impact.
That's powerful. Like, if you know you're that person, you'll know you're that person without that person, you saying the name.
Those people, they know it.
I like that.
They know they've had a massive impact on my life.
That.
And I'll say it to them privately, separately, but they know it deep down.
I love that. And to check out, this is the question where we ask all the time, every single guest. It's when you have a chance to say one thing to 7.8 billion people, what are you going to tell them?
Appreciation. Appreciate it. Whatever it is, appreciate it. Be thankful. Like I use the word alhamdulillah. Like be thankful for everything. Where you are, whatever you do, breathing, living, eating, sleeping. Enjoy it, appreciate it, have fun with it, be grateful.
Love it, man. Thanks for coming, bro.